Health and Fitness with David Hollywood with the all-new Midlands Park Health and Fitness Club, midlandsparkhotel.com. Midlands 103.
Hello and welcome to this week's programme. Let's have a look at what's coming up on the show. Friendship, solidarity and respect. Those are the key tenets and values of Sanctuary Runners. You'll hear about how they're celebrating Refugee Week this weekend very shortly. Two of the Midlands' brightest boxing prospects in many years are live in studio later to talk about their upcoming fights and raising funds, raising awareness, driving inclusiveness and delivering healthcare. Those are the shared objectives of two new partners, the Irish Wheelchair Association and Hearmed Healthcare in Tullamore. They're coming in to talk about why they're so excited about this announcement. Sanctuary Runners is a solidarity through sport initiative. They use running, jogging, walking to bring everybody in the community together. In particular, people who've come here seeking international protection or migrants who've come here to live and to work from other countries. There's about 40 groups across the country. They come together regularly to run, jog or walk in solidarity, friendship and respect. Those are their values, and I have to say, for Health and Fitness on Midlands 103, very much the values that I would like to carry on through our programme. This week in particular is a big one. It's Refugee Week. Groups from Moat, Athlone and Tullamore are coming together on Saturday this weekend for a solidarity run. I'm very glad to say that I am joined by Maria Flanagan from the Moat Sanctuary Runners. Maria, a big day in the calendar for Sanctuary Runners. It must be one that everybody's been looking forward to.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, these are events that bring us together with other people in other communities. Our group based in Moat in Doonashee Amenity and Heritage Park meets every Sunday for a walk and talk / Sanctuary Runners group. We walk, we talk, we run, some people jog. You know, it's for all abilities. We say everybody is welcome, all nationalities, all abilities, all ages. But when we get to do something like this, it means that we can get together with other members in other communities near us. So the Midlands-based groups have decided to come together for this event tomorrow in solidarity to, I suppose, mark Refugee Week, which is a very important week in the calendar to raise awareness around the issues and challenges, but also to celebrate our wonderful friends who are seeking protection on our shores. So we're all very excited about getting together tomorrow in Athlone Regional Sports Centre at 9:30 in the morning.
Just in terms of this event tomorrow then, like obviously when the Sanctuary Runners meet up, it's a social occasion and it's solidarity through sport, as you say, but when all these groups meet up, there must be a feeling of celebration on a weekend like this.
Absolutely. I mean, it just shows that when people come together, what I suppose powerful change can happen. It creates friendships, it creates a bonding, it creates deeper connections. When we go away on events together, like last year we did the Sanctuary Runners 5k fun run in the National Sports Complex in Dublin. And it just the day out where everybody was together bonding and we meeting people from all over the country, of all nationalities, sharing music, sharing culture. It just brings a great connection between people and builds excitement at times when things are quite challenging for many people, living in direct provision, living in a state-provided accommodation. You know, times can be very difficult. People are living in isolated areas, and Temple Accommodation Centre is 9 kilometres outside Moat. And it is a very isolated area, and people do suffer from mental health challenges at different times. So as we all know, sport and fitness brings people together. It's good for our health. It's good for our well-being. And it's great to create friendships and to build people's stronger networks. Like we beyond the Sanctuary Runners group, we have a WhatsApp group where we signpost people to education, jobs in the community, activities and we organise and we have developed lots of other integrative activities in the community, like intercultural choir. The Ubuntu Voices choir started last October. We have Fáilte Jock in the community as well, which is an English conversation English group to help and support people who are learning English and improving their English. So there's just so many benefits to it. It just brings people together and makes, as we say, stronger together. There's an old African phrase, if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, go together. And I always believe that is such a powerful phrase, that, you know, through connections, we are definitely stronger together.
Yeah, and as you talk to me there about intercultural integration and how important it is, not just from, say, an exercise perspective, which is one element of Sanctuary Runners. It's the wider piece of social integration. And it occurs to me that in the world we live in now with mobile technology, we as individuals, whether we've come from another country to here, whether we have been seeking protection from another country, or indeed we have been living in the community our whole lives, we all have become more siloed and separated and ultimately a little bit more lonely, I would say, because of technology. So the greater good, or the overarching thing here, is that Sanctuary Runners can work to kind of reawaken community spirit amongst all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that we talk about on a frequent basis when we meet up for our Sunday walks and talks and Sanctuary Runners is the concept of the old Irish concept of mehel, and how, coming together, building things together. So that can be building connections, but it can also mean building physical structures or helping one another. It takes a village to raise a child, and our group is really built on those foundations. If somebody needs a hand in any way, they just put a message into our group and somebody within our group will be able to help them. It's about reaching out, I suppose, and people often ask me how they can help, but I said it's very simple. All you have to do is reach out the hand of friendship, ask somebody to come for a coffee, meet them for a walk on the Sunday in the park. There's so many ways that you can just create connections very simply. It doesn't cost anything, it just costs, I suppose, a moment of your time, some kindness and compassion.
Anne-Marie Sheehan is the Community Development Manager at Sanctuary Runners Ireland, and she has messaged us in with some more details if you do want to get involved with Sanctuary Runners Ireland, and maybe her perspective on the value of sport for all of us in the community.
Sport is one of those things that makes a place feel like home. And for us, reaching out to include everyone is so vital. And because it's a simple thing to do, to go for a walk together or to go for a jog together, we can run side by side. It's such an easy way to get to know people who are new to our community. Everybody is welcome to join, and we're always looking for new members to come along. We have a website, sanctuaryrunners.ie, and there's a contact us form on that, or you can drop an email to info@sanctuaryrunners.ie to find out more about getting involved.
I am now joined by Manka, who is with Marie as we speak about Refugee Week. Manka, you were based in the Temple Accommodation Centre in Horseleap, and you've been with Sanctuary Runners in Moat. Talk to me about what your experience has been with the group.
My experience, I would say, it's a very great experience. Living there for 4 years, and when Sanctuary Runners was introduced 2 years ago by Maria, it was a very good relief for us. At least given an opportunity to go out, interact with the community, because I've been living in Temple for 4 years, and it was my first time to interact with the community. You have something to do, you go out, you meet others. Like before Sanctuary Runners, I've never been to Donassi Park, but thanks to Sanctuary Runners, so I went to Donassi Park, where we were there every Saturday and every Sunday, meet others and discuss in front of a cup of tea and some cake. It's a very great experience. I don't know how to explain it, because when you live in a place like Temple and you have an opportunity to go out, it's a big relief.
Okay.
Especially for my daughter.
Okay, so you're a mother and you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And so the two of you were both going with the Sanctuary Runners. Were you nervous before you went for the first time? What were your feelings?
I was a bit nervous because I was going to meet others that were not living in Temple.
Sure.
So meeting the community that maybe I was bypassing them by the road without even greeting, without even saying hi. But having to share a cup of tea with them is very great. So, and thanks, the community is also very welcoming. So, and the kids got to play around the park, explore everything.
So the integration, the connection with the community, it sounds like that's something that when you're in your situation, when you were in Temple accommodation, that it kind of can change your life.
Yeah. Big change of life.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that Sanctuary Runners were able to help in terms of your experience and for your child as well, Manka. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, David.
Next, we're going to hear from Farida and then Amanda, who are both part of Sanctuary Runners.
I think I joined 2 months ago. I admit that the first day I didn't feel comfortable, and I told myself, just hold on today and you will not return again. And it turns out that I became addicted to the group. I appreciate the kindness in welcoming the newcomers and showing love and attention to details. Thanks to Lori, who brought me to the group. Thank you, Maria. You know that you are incredible, a very nice and good person. A big thanks to the entire team for the positive energy they bring each Sunday. Your collective efforts and dedication truly illuminate and promote gold medal. And thank you.
Hi, I'm Amanda from Tulamo Sanctuary Runners, and I joined the group around maybe 2 or 3 years ago when it initially set up. I'm not quite sure of the dates, but it was such an important thing for me because at the time we're still coming out of COVID and we're still trying to get our community to know our community. Because we had moved to Tulamo and the center was open just before COVID. So we never really got an opportunity to integrate and know our community at the time because of the lockdown. So when Sanctuary Runners opened, it was really great to see that there was a community that was already waiting to meet us. So it was really a no-brainer, and the people were super friendly. For me, Sanctuary Runners not only became a place with the health benefits, but more a place to socialize, to chat, to laugh. And we've just become such a family, people that I can call on regardless of even the running. It's no longer just about the running, but it became a support system. We are there for each other in such an amazing way, which has been fantastic. So Sanctuary Runners is definitely something that I would encourage even my peers to be in because it's somewhere to start. If you don't know your local community, nobody knows your community better than the locals. And Sanctuary Runners is set up by the locals for that very reason. So it's been such a wonderful experience, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to join.
Maria Flanagan is back with us from Sanctuary Runners in Moat. Maria, it's been great to hear from people who've been part of the Sanctuary Runners movement and can speak and testify to the benefits that it's had in their lives. So again, tomorrow's event, it's a meeting of the groups from Moat, Athlone and Tullamore. If people wanted to get down and run in solidarity with everybody for Refugee Week, where is it and when is it?
So the Midlands Solidarity Run takes place tomorrow morning at 9:30 in Athlone Regional Sports Centre. It will start at 9:30 sharp, so do get there maybe 15 minutes early just to check in with people and get to say hello to everybody. And we'll have refreshments afterwards, so there'll be plenty of time for chats, which is always the most important part of anything. It's for all abilities, so whether you can walk, run, come in a wheelchair, with a buggy with your child, or maybe you just want to spectate and watch and be there to support people as they cross the line. Everybody is welcome, all nationalities, all abilities, all ages. We'd love to see as many people as possible.
After the break, you'll hear from two bright sparks from Laois and Offaly. They've been fighting together for over a decade and they're intent on making a big impact in professional boxing.
Health and fitness with the all-new Midlands Park Health and Fitness Club with fitness classes to suit everyone. Experience the warmth at 30 degrees in our dedicated spin studio. Discover all this and more on midlandsparkhotel.com. Midlands 103.
It's a surprisingly rare and beautiful fact that we have very few professional boxers coming from Laois and Offaly. I managed to corral two of them to join us on Health and Fitness this evening. Cian Reddy and Paul Unum are in studio. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Really appreciate having us.
Not at all. The reason that we've got you both in is if you've got big fights coming up. Cian, I'm going to start with yourself. You've got bags of experience in the amateur ranks, but a while ago you were in with us talking about your move into the professional realm, and that fight is coming up this summer. So how are you feeling ahead of it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long journey, like, from the amateurs, and I always knew I wanted to do it, so it's great to be finally having a debut day and having a fight to look forward to, and it's going to be a great experience and one that I'm looking forward to, and I can't wait to get going.
Give us the date.
The 20th of July in Bradford, England. So yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Heading over to Bradford for it. The opponent, you'll be able to announce that closer to the fight, but safe to say your preparation is specifically focused on getting yourself in the best possible shape to fight professional.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it's kind of like when you're in the amateurs, early in your professional career, you don't really get that much notice, and there can be a lot of changes in opponent early on for whatever reason. So I think if you're looking at your opponent too much, you're not focusing on yourself, and you're kind of taken away from your own preparation. So right now I'm just focusing on myself and doing what I can and what I have to do to get ready. So yeah.
Paul Lunham's a man that you know well, a man that you train with, and a man who could tell you a thing or two about making a professional debut. Paul, you've got a fight coming up. We're going to talk about that shortly. But first thing to talk about is that pro debut that you made. It's been a few weeks since the fight happened. What are your reflections on it?
Yeah, it was a great night. To obviously get the win was most important, but to fight in Dublin with over 130 people there supporting me, there was no other feeling like it. You know, it was definitely a dream come true for me. But look, we move on from that now, and I have my second pro fight on July the 26th, so that's where all my focus is on now.
Special day, July 26th for you as well. It's not just your second fight.
Yeah, it's my birthday as well, so look, I'm going to train hard for that one, all focus on the fight, and then might enjoy the night then after the fight.
Well, this is the privilege you have when it comes to that, because there's probably, as fighters, you both might be able to tell me about this, you live an almost monastic life in the build up to fights. You've got to be really careful about what you do and how you manage everything. As soon as you finish a fight, like, all bets are off. Presumably you can have a burger, you can go for a drink, you can stay up late, all this type of thing. Is that the case?
Yeah, it is, and some people like to do that more than others. For myself, I like to go for some food with family and friends that maybe haven't been able to go out for some nice food. Go for some nice food, maybe meet up with my friends, have a drink or two, and then probably on the Monday or Tuesday you're back in that kind of the mode for the next fight. Because I'm so early in my career, I'm looking to fight very often this year, so you don't really have too much time off. You're just thinking about the next one straight away.
And Cian, I can see you nodding your head there as well. It's a case of thinking big picture when it comes to every day that you're living as a fighter, as opposed to just before a fight or whatever.
Yeah, see, if you kind of celebrate your wins too much, you're kind of playing catch up after for a while, so you don't want to go out and, you know, have too much to drink or go get your weight up too much or anything like that, because then for the next couple of weeks you're only kind of playing catch up, and things can happen very quickly and the next opportunity can come very quickly. So I'm only looking at the first one now, so as soon as that's over, I'll see what I'd like to maybe just, I don't know, maybe have a drink for one night, or I don't know, I haven't really had any in the last while because I've been training and preparing, and that's what my focus is on now. And after that we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, it occurs to me it's probably unfair to bring up the spectre of celebrations as you're both intently focusing on getting into the ring again. Would you have any advice for Cian, Paul, in terms of the day itself or the night before, anything like that? Are they different feelings than preparing for an amateur fight, your first pro fight?
Yeah, it's definitely well different. Like Cian, everyone knows me and Cian from boxing as amateurs, and you kind of think, all right, Paul's fighting next week, Cian's fighting next week. It's just kind of the thing, you're fighting every couple of weeks. But like, Cian's been waiting for his pro debut since he's a kid, really, or since he's 12, 13. So it's, you know, he's taken that step into making his dreams come true. So what I would say to Cian is just enjoy it all, soak it in, but just keep your eyes on the prize, which is getting the win. You know what I mean? That's it.
Sounds like sensible enough advice, Cian. How are you feeling generally about it? Do you have this sort of mindset where you're feeling prepared, or there's not enough time in the day to put in the work that you want to put in? Where are you with it all?
Of course you're going to be a bit nervous coming up to your pro debut. I suppose it's natural, but they say nerves keep you sharp, so they keep you sharp mentally and physically when you're in the ring. So I'm just really trusting in my coaches and the plan they've set for me, and I'm following that plan. And to be honest, I've never followed the plan as much as I am now, because a lot of the time in the amateurs you're boxing, you could be boxing in America or you could be boxing in Poland, and you don't really, like I said the last time, you don't really need that much of a crowd, that much of an audience, or your friends and family don't really come to them as much. But for this one, so far I think there's 50 people already coming over to Bradford.
Wow.
As it is. So and I have a lot of family in England as well, so I didn't have that, like, I had a lot of experience in the amateurs, but I didn't have that many fights where a lot of my family and friends were there, which can be a different atmosphere and bring different types of nerves, which I suppose it's just how you deal with it, and we'll just have to see on the night how I do deal with it. But I'm really happy with my preparation so far. I've been sparring some of the best lads around the UK and Ireland, and just getting ready for that night. So yeah, I can't wait to get going and get to show on the road, I suppose.
Yeah, and as Paul said there, it's just a case of keeping the eyes on the prize in this build-up. How have you found the training? You basically have the full camp under your belt now, bar a few weeks out from the fight. How have you found this feeling of training to be a pro?
Like you said there, I had this. They told me that I was going to be boxing in August, and that show got pulled, so it wasn't going to happen. But then I just said, look, let's look at an alternative date, and they told me the 20th of July. So I've been in camp really since end of April for that date. Like, I was over in Spain sparring, and then last week I was sparring Jordan Flynn, who was 11-0 in the UK, and he was to fight on Saturday on the Zone. So I've been getting quality sparring. Been sparring Gary Cully there, who's in the gym in Unit 3. He just had a great win 2 weeks ago, defended his European title. So these are the levels I'm capable of sparring at, and holding my own with some of the best in the world, really. So I've found it really good, and I'm just looking forward to the next couple of weeks and continuing to improve and to be the best I can be for the night.
The litmus test is what you do in the ring, so you must be looking forward to seeing that if you're sparring at a certain level, how that translates to actually trying to best an opponent when it comes to the cut and thrust of a real fight.
Absolutely. Like, when you're sparring, there's a couple of coaches there, a couple of boxers. It's not going to be the same as when all your family, all your friends, and people are cheering for you, and it can cut up. It can be a lot different than sparring. So look, sparring is just sparring, really. I've sparred some of the best pros, like I said, but I don't want that to be my claim to fame, or I sparred this lad or I sparred that lad. I want to be able to say I've done it for myself. And people had said to me about why'd you go pro. I was able to hold my own with some of the best of them. I was sparring TJ when I was a kid, 17, 18, and I have messages from him. Like, I think I told you last time, he told me to go all the way and to follow it, and he said he's seen something in me, and that meant a lot to me. That inspired me. So when you're able to hold your own with these lads at that world level and to get that bit of advice, it really inspired me. But I don't want that to be my claim to fame. I want to have something for myself and to be able to say I've done it for myself and to be proud of myself. So that's where I'm at now, and I'll be proud of myself when I want to look back on my career and be proud of myself. Right now I'm just taking it all in, but it's continuing to try and be the best I can be. So yeah,
trying to make your own legacy like TJ has done.
100%. Yeah, TJ being the only other professional boxer from Laois, he's really set the standard. He couldn't have set the standard any higher. World champion. So if I could match that, it'd be unbelievable.
When we come back, you'll hear the lads talking about the importance of having a trust network in pro fighting.
Health and fitness with the all-new Midlands Park Health and Fitness Club, where relaxation meets rejuvenation. Find out more at midlandsparkhotel.com. Midlands 103.
Seconds out, welcome back to the programme. When we left our chat with the Laois and Offaly pro boxers Cian Reddy and Paul Lunham, Cian was telling us about his ambitions to create a legacy for Laois boxing, just like world champion fighter TJ Doheny. Paul Lunham returns to the ring after winning his debut bout impressively. He fights again on July 26th. I asked him what he learned from preparing for that first fight.
The last camp, I came into the camp a little bit heavier than I'm coming into this camp, and I started working with a nutritionist, so I got my weight on point for the last camp. The weight making went really well. I started to gel more with the guys in Unit 3 because it was my first camp and my first kind of training camp with the whole team in Unit 3, so I've kind of bonded with them really well. gelled really well, and with this camp it's just kind of being free flowing. It's going really smoothly and going well, so I'm just going into my kind of sparring stage of camp now, so just getting in the hard rounds now this week, next week, and then there on. But yeah, look, the preparation for last time out went really well. The game plan was executed down to a T. My coach he couldn't expect that and better, that's what he said. So it was really good. Just the same thing again, just good conditioning, good fitness, good weight making, and then just when the opponents confirm, just confirm a game plan and just follow that then.
In terms of saying that you're just getting into the sparring phase of your preparations now for a fight that's on the 26th of July, what is your training like before you go into sparring? I presume sparring then is where you're trying to put a number of things together that you've been working on and see how it works in the real flow of a spar. But what have you been doing up to now then? So
for the last 5-6 weeks I've been working on different techniques, honing certain skills maybe that aren't my greatest strengths, and also conditioning, so getting fitter, getting stronger, and it puts you in a better position than when you are sparring, because if you're not so fit and you're doing maybe just say 8 rounds of sparring, the first 6 rounds might be great, but the last 2 rounds, if you don't have the gas in the tank, you might feel a bit tired and you might take more punches than you actually need to. So we do a bit of sparring. I have sparred throughout this camp, but the majority of our sparring is done when you're strong, when you're fit, when you have the gas in the tank, and then you can do your good hard sparring without taking any unnecessary damage, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's perfectly logical. It makes a lot of sense. Cian just mentioned there basically the second professional fighter out of Laois after TJ Doherty. From your perspective, first Offaly fighter now, and you're 1-0. How cool a thing is that to reflect on, that you've kind of got the professional boxing scene in Offaly up and running all by yourself? Yeah, it's brilliant. Look, I've had some nice messages from boxing people in Offaly as well, the likes of Grania Walsh and Brian Kennedy. I just want to wish Grania all the best in her Olympic journey, and I think she's going to medal as well. But yeah, look, it's brilliant to have that title, and the support I'm getting from everyone in my home village in Pulla and in Offaly in general, in Tullamore, it's been brilliant, yeah. So it's great to hold that title, and yeah, looking forward to putting a stamp on that title. Like, you said there that Unit 3, the first camp you had with them was in preparation for the first professional fight. You're training out of there with Cian, so how nice was it to have him? How long have you guys known each other, first and foremost? Probably good 12-13 years. Yeah, since we were 12 or... Unreal. Yeah, so... Good 10 years, yeah. So when you're in a kind of new gym like that, or I presume you guys have... You've been in all sorts of places together because of boxing and that type of thing. It must be nice having that face that's so familiar there whenever you are changing throughout your career and that type of thing. Yeah, it definitely is. It's great. Like, me and Cian, we've boxed in the past, we've been sparring partners in the past. He's a little bit heavier than me now, so we don't spar now, but we went on a trip to Hungary together, and Eindhoven as well. Eindhoven in Holland as well, so we get on really well, and we're not too far from, we don't live far from one another, so we always know each other, and we've mutual friends too. So it's great to have Cian in Unit 3, and like, we go for coffee after training and stuff like that, and chats, and we went for coffee before this as well. So look, it's good to stay in the loop and talk about boxing together, talk about the business side of things, and yeah, look, it's great to have a friend in that gym, and I've obviously met some other great people in the gym as well, so it's brilliant. You guys would have heard so much about what professional boxing is like in terms of the downsides and the difficult aspects of it. So to have a community of people that you can trust, like Cian, from your perspective, to know Paul and to be comfortable in Unit 3, to know that your coaches are looking out for you, that's a big part of being successful in boxing as well, I'd say. Absolutely, because it can be hard to choose the right team, from managers to promoters to trainers. We're like, especially with the two of us are there now, and we're very happy with where we are. But we have each other, and we have a great friend group in there, and everybody works off each other, everybody pushes each other in the gym. The other day, Paul was doing pad work and he was taking a break, and I was on the assault bike, and you're pushing yourself for that last round, and he's motivating me, I'll be motivating him other times, and it could be that 1% on the assault bike that'll get you over the line
in the fight, and the same with the spar, same with he gives me different tips, I give him different tips, and it's not like there's no bad animosity, there's no he's why is he telling me what to do. We want to help each other, we want to work off each other. And like, I was at his first pro fight. It was brilliant to see him doing it. So we've came up together since we were like you said, 12 years old. We trained together, sparred together, and he boxed absolutely brilliant. And it was a great performance. So it was great to be able to see that, and to see somebody you came up the whole ranks with, I suppose, and seeing how well he done. So it's great for the team.
Tell us this: what's an assault bike?
Painful. So you don't want to know what it is.
You don't want to know.
It's the worst part of training. And when I was on it, and it was the last round, and Paul was motivating me, it was, like I said, it's great to have him there and to have him pushing me, because I did not want to be on that assault bike.
Come here, is it like a stationary exercise bike just with different settings, or what are we talking about here?
It's a stationary exercise bike, but what it does is we use it for anaerobic conditioning, so you're pushing that hard that you can't get in enough oxygen to keep you going, in a sense. So it kind of deprives your body a little bit of oxygen, so it can make you feel a little bit fuzzy, kind of make you feel like you're in a fight, doesn't it, Keane? Maybe the last couple of rounds of a fight where you're kind of a little bit startled, stuff like that. That happens on the bike when you push really hard. So we use it for conditioning sessions. And look, anyone that's listening that knows what an assault bike is, you're just thinking about, it definitely makes you feel ill after, doesn't it? It's tough.
It's probably one of the worst things I've ever done, but it was great to have him there to support and to push me on. And next time when I'm taking a break between rounds, I'll be pushing him on.
100%.
So,
that's good to hear that you guys are there, able to support each other. It's also good to hear that I don't have anything in my life like an assault bike. So look, the best of luck with the next few weeks in terms of training. We'll be looking out for the results, and we'll catch up with you afterwards. But Cian Reddy and Paul Lunham, thanks for joining us on Health and Fitness.
Thanks for having us, David.
Thanks very much for having us. And I just want to say big best of luck to Cian. He's going to do the job in Bradford, and then hopefully we'll have a card together soon, maybe in the Midlands, who knows.
100%.
Leash enough, they will have to get together for this one. So.
Yeah. Actually, before we do go, to you lads, did either of you watch the Joe McDonagh Cup final?
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
Happy out?
Yeah, brilliant, great win.
We were robbed.
But look, it was a pity they didn't do so well the week after against Cork, but look, that's the way it goes, and it was a great win in the final Joe McDonagh Cup.
I suppose you could probably relate to a lot of the young lads in that team, that they're on their own journey as well, up to the highest level, but as Cork showed, it's still a bit away from them at the moment. So.
Yeah, but look, they have somewhere to work to now. They worked up to the Joe McDonagh Cup, they won the final, and a lot of the under-20s as well, they were on that team too, so it's awfully, you're in a good place now for hurling, thank God.
Leash's day will come, Cian.
Hopefully.
Lads, thanks very much, appreciate it.
Yeah, been a pleasure. David. Thanks.
Raising funds, raising awareness and driving inclusiveness. Those are the goals behind the partnership between the Irish Wheelchair Association and Hearmed Healthcare. They'll be with us next.
Health and fitness with the newly refurbished Midlands Park Health and Fitness Club. Refresh your fitness journey with dedicated personal trainers on hand to help you achieve your goals. Find out more at midlandsparkhotel.com. Midlands 103.
Now, we have a very full house in studio in Health and Fitness this evening, and let's find out why. We're talking about a new partnership between Hearmed Healthcare and the Irish Wheelchair Association in-house to talk us through the ideas behind this, the benefits that they'll hope to achieve. Our Ash Purry, fundraising partnership manager with the Irish Wheelchair Association, Rose Multony, Hearmed director and audiologist, and the public engagement manager and four-time Paralympian with the Irish Wheelchair Association, John Fulham. Folks, thanks so much for joining us on Health and Fitness this evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Rose, I'll start with yourself. Hearmed have done plenty with us over the last weeks and months, and your latest initiative, but this seems to have a sense of importance around it from your own perspective. What's driving this new announcement that you're partnering with the Irish Wheelchair Association?
Okay, so Hearmed is an audiology practice which we believe in patients having the full services of any any area regarding hearing health or, access to such services or being wheelchair accessible and stuff like that. We wanted the partnership to be something where people can come from all areas, as in disability services or whatever it is. What we want to do is we want to kind of grow our business, but also we want to be connected with our communities. When I say connected with communities, like we want to be able to help the local services and try and, raise awareness that there's funds needed for these services. If we don't raise the funds, it means the likes of the IWA will suffer. Their clientele or anybody that uses the services will be lacking. So we believe that definitely it's a great area of interest, and I think the partnership will be brilliant.
You guys are in the healthcare space, but this is obviously then investing time and resource into the overall welfare of the communities that your outlets Hearmed are going to be in, generally starting with Tullamore here.
Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. I want to check in with Ash then from a fundraising partnership perspective, which you're focused on. What are the positive elements and aspects of this that have all of us sitting here this evening?
I think it's a natural fit. When Hearmed approached us a number of months ago, we discussed how best to kind of bring the partnership together and what benefits it could bring our members. And like Rose and Rory had some very innovative and great ideas, and we had a wonderful day. We were out in the centre in Balnagar, just outside Tullamore today, talking to our members, and they were very, very engaged and got some great feedback there in what they would like to see, and the fact that Hearmed are so passionate not only about healthcare but by people in general and providing the service and ensuring that everyone has access to it, made it, like as I said before, a real good natural fit. And on a plus side, they're also assisting us in other fundraising activities going forward, which is vital for an organisation such as us, because we're only partially funded by the HSC. So we have to do a lot in terms of fundraising to ensure that our members have access to the services that they require. So there's always a need there. So it was a great fit.
We'll talk about some of the mechanics of the fundraising very shortly. I wanted to ask John Fulham, who, as I mentioned in our introduction, you're a 4-time Paralympian. But beyond that, I understand you've been a member of the Irish Wheelchair Association for 39 years. Is that right?
Yeah, you're outing me on my age now. Yeah,
apologies.
I joined in when I was
-1.
14, unfortunately. So I've been around Irish Wheelchair Association for a long time, and what I got out of Irish Wheelchair Association, what they were able to do for me was they taught me how to drive, which was a key to me realising my independence, and they got me involved in sport, which as a 14-year-old teenager was crucial for inclusivity, for feeling part of the community that I was living in. And that's why I really love hearing Rose talk about community being central to what they do and access to that community. So I worked as a bank manager for a long time with AIB, but I left AIB to come work for Irish Wheelchair Association. I was possibly the worst bank manager in the world. And when I told them I was leaving, they didn't ask me to stay. But apart from that, it was great to work with an organisation about which I have a passion and I care deeply about, making sure that people with disabilities get to realise their potential in whatever way they want to, in the same way that I was able to, and that's what our services do. We allow them to live their lives in the manner of their choosing. That's my passion.
And it's multifaceted. In increasing, say, accessibility and awareness and people's understanding. It doesn't happen just in one space, because I know, like, say, the IWA are very good in terms of accessibility to sport and this type of thing. We've covered the wheelchair hurling and basketball and rugby before in the sports department here. But it also takes partnerships like this with Hearmed to be able to bring in another catchment of people. So with your experience looking at these issues, with the life that you've lived, it must be a positive to be able to see that this is something that could happen more often going forward as well.
Absolutely. I think the most important is raising awareness and being able to amplify that message, having the support of people like Rose and Hearmed to open up those avenues of awareness is key. So we provide a lot of services as an organisation, but those services were based on what our members told us they needed, and that continues. And advocacy is a huge element of what we do. So not just providing services, but actually fighting to change what isn't right in our society at the moment. So people with disabilities don't feel excluded. That it's about inclusion, it's about equity, it's making sure that people feel valued as part of that community, and it cuts across everything from attitudes to physical access to employment to disability awareness to education to providing personal assistance support to people in their everyday lives, whatever that may be. Whether it could be getting out of bed, it could be doing the shopping, whatever that is. So as you say, there are so many areas that the organisation is involved in. We're an organisation of just shy of 2,500 staff, so people don't realise the scale and size of what we do, but more importantly for me, the importance of it, because if we look at what happened, the organisation was set up back in 1960, where people came back from the Paralympics and said life has to be better for people with disabilities. Some of those issues are still here, and we're talking 64 years later. So our work is important in that context. So being able to amplify that message is critical.
Yeah, you're right to underline that we almost have structural ignorance that can be really difficult to overcome. And as you say, it's an historic fact, but it's no reason to hold back or be apprehensive about tackling these issues and driving into raising that awareness. And one of the important aspects of helping raise the awareness is helping raise the funds that can enable Irish Wheelchair Association to go out and have their voice heard, as it were, Rose. So from Hearmed's perspective, how is the fundraising going to work? What are the mechanics at play that are going to see Hearmed's operations help support the Irish Wheelchair Association?
Okay, so just to touch on a point that John made about disabilities and stigmas, hearing loss can come with a stigma attached, you know what I mean? And some people can class that as a disability as well. So it doesn't matter who comes across the door. Like, what we want is an open door policy. Everybody is welcome. So as regards to fundraising, that side of things, as Ash mentioned earlier, we're going to do an abseiling event 31st of August up in Dalkey. So myself, Rory, Ash and a couple of others are actually going to be doing this. Now, we've never done it before. It's a scary event, but we will do it. And hopefully with that, we're going to raise funds and get the support of our local community, our family, friends, work colleagues, as well as that for any hearing tests going forward that's booked, that mentioned the IWA, Hearmed is actually going to donate towards the charity as well, and this is going to be an ongoing thing. So hopefully between Irish Wheelchair Association and Hearmed, I think we're going to hopefully raise a nice few pounds and bring loads of awareness, and it'll be amazing. It'll be an amazing day out. So
tell us this: how many hearing tests would Hearmed get through over the course of a week, for instance? Have you a ballpark?
Bless, like we're busy. We are busy. Probably about maybe 50.
Okay, so the prospects of creating a genuine support stream of revenue for the Irish Wheelchair Association is built into this partnership.
That's exactly it.
On that basis.
Like when we were out in the IWA Centre today in Balnagar and Tullamore, like we were going around, we were chatting to all the guys there and just getting a general idea of what they were struggling with, and a lot of them did say they were actually struggling with the hearing or wax build-up or whatever it was. So the consensus is come in, avail of your free hearing test, but either myself or Rory will be looking after them on the day. It's all about the patient, what they need, what they require. If it's a thing that they need hearing aids, we're helping them reach their own goals in their own listening environments.
Okay, John, I wanted to ask you, you're the public engagement manager with the Irish Wheelchair Association now, and as you mentioned, you went from a totally different career prior to that. And it's always a piece I'm very interested in investigating. If I ever get someone in studio who mentions that they've done something like this, I actually think it's just worth getting into the experience you've had going from a world like banking, and it could be so many other different types of jobs that we're in. Something clicked with you. You said, "No, I've got to go down this path." what do you get out of, what have you gotten out of that change? What was the experience like in deciding to make that change? Because it's a big change in anyone's life.
It's the change isn't as difficult as you think. It's making the decision.
Yes.
It's going through that thought process about, I've been in the bank for 24 years. I started when I left school. I'm sure my parents were looking at me going, are you mad? This is a career. But for me, I just didn't align with the values and the way banking was going at that stage. It didn't float my boat. It was a very deep personal experience, and I went out there looking, well, when you're in somewhere so long, you tend at times to become institutionalized, and you forget to give yourself credit for the skills that you have built up, or you haven't built up, as the case may be. And I suppose through that process, I went out looking optimistically, and then just a position came up in Irish Wheelchair Association, and I spoke to the CEO and went through the process. And for me, it's just given me back that passion, because it's great to work on something that you love to do. And for me, I've got so much out of life from two very simple things of sport and learning how to drive. They were the two things I needed, and I went off and I lived my life, got married, have an 8-year-old to wreck my head and make me pay for all the stuff I did when I was a child. So that's someone with a disability realising their potential in life, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And for me to make sure that other young people coming through, or other people who've acquired their disability, part of our ethos is that you might not need us now, but you might need us in the future. To make sure that the barriers that still exist to that is to do my very best to make sure that they have the confidence, the self-advocacy, that belief in themselves, but also to change the societal issues, because the work needs to be done on that. And it's very important that the voice of people with disabilities is front and central to that, to making that change happen. So a lot of the work that we would do would be empowering people to have their own voice heard. It's not about us speaking for our members, it's about empowering them to speak for themselves, and we'll support them. And one of our values is fun. It is a great value, and I love it because you spoke about it there. It is fun, and watching Ash throw himself off a cliff in Dalkey will be fun.
Hang on now, John. I heard you're doing it too. Is this right?
It's been mentioned. That was just landed on me today. It's been mentioned, and true to our values, it has to be an equally accessible. So pulling the wheelchair card is not going to work for me because I can't do it. So from that point of view, that's part of our value, and people are at the centre of everything we do, like yourselves. And if we can do that and be fun, so back to your original question, if I steer it all back, that was so to be able to work at something about which you love, you're passionate about, that was the change for me, and it's been a game changer in terms of just lifestyle and career and just belief in it. It really helps you hone in on what you value.
Well, you never know, there's someone maybe listening at home this evening who can take that message on board and take a similar step in their lives. But the overarching priority about our interview on health and fitness this evening was to underline the value of these kinds of partnerships, in this instance Hearmed and the Irish Wheelchair Association, but the ideas behind giving people with a disability a voice, raising awareness about the issues that they're facing, long-standing issues, and of course ultimately providing people with healthcare in our community. And if we can improve on these things through partnerships like this, then we're making decent progress. So Ash, Rose and John from Hearmed and the Irish Wheelchair Association, really grateful to you guys coming in to speak to us this evening. And for Rory from Hearmed to be sitting beside us saying nothing, but here regardless. Say hello, Rory.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
A big thanks to everyone who came into us, and a big thanks to everyone who took the time to talk to us this week. It is a shout out time on health and fitness. There's a campaign that was launched in Leinster House back on April 24th. This was to provide neurological services at the Portlaoise General Hospital. A neurologist for Portlaoise was promised as far back as 2020. However, patients with brain conditions like MS, Parkinson's disease and epilepsy are still being forced to make frequent, long journeys to Dublin hospitals when they could be seen quicker and easier, of course, in Portlaoise. The Neurological Alliance of Ireland has launched a campaign looking for funding for a neurologist. You can support this campaign by logging on to patientsdeservebetter.ie to contact your local TDs. There's also a breastfeeding talk with Offaly's lactation consultant Patricia Martinson, We featured her on Health and Fitness before, in Tullamore Library at 11:30 on Tuesday morning. That is the 25th of June. Patricia will cover subjects such as postnatal depression, benefits of extended natural term breastfeeding, introducing breastfeeding boundaries, weaning, normal behaviour of newborn babies and practical survival tips. People can book a place for the talk by contacting Tullamore Library on 057 9346 832. or get in touch through Tullamore Library at offalycoco.ie. And last but by no means least, a big shout out and the very best of luck to county champions Tullamore Camogie, who are heading to the Camogie and Hurling Féile finals tomorrow morning. That's our lot for this week. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.